Yo, what's going on, fellas? Happy Thursday morning to you. Hope you guys are doing well as we near the weekend. What a beautiful day in Chicago. 70 degrees it's going to get up to today. It's already 60 degrees bright and early this morning. Love it, but that's going to change this weekend. Going down in the 30s this weekend. So get out there in Chicago if you're living here with me. And get out, make there, and enjoy that weather. Hopefully it's nice wherever you guys are at. Appreciate you guys kicking off another morning with me here. Let's, of course, make sure we recap yesterday. And then we got Thursday night football between the Falcons and the Panthers to go ahead and talk about and get some bets in along the way as well. So throwing up that recap first, as we always like to make sure we go ahead and do around here. Yeah, couldn't help myself. Like a drug. Not that I know what the hell a drug is like, but I hear that they're pretty addicting. Me and betting soccer is awfully goddamn addicting, and I could not stay away from it yesterday. I did put together a little Europa League EFL Cup parlay, and it did not cash. Over or under 3.5 goals didn't happen in that Arsenal-Brighton game. I was also on that Tottenham money line. They couldn't quite get the job done against Forest. West Ham was unable to beat Blackburn. We've been talking about it. I mean, I watched the games, or actually I didn't watch the games. The only game I watched was Manchester City versus Chelsea, which was absolutely fantastic. I thought for sure a goal was coming in that first half. City was all over Chelsea. That being said, Chelsea did create a couple nice chances. Pulisic, I don't want to call it a sitter, but he was just outside the 6-yard box. He's got to finish that. Man, that was upsetting to see because obviously, he's going to be one of the stars leading this United States team in this World Cup starting next week. And well, that was a big opportunity that he missed right there. Lewis Hall, the academy player, getting his first ever start for Chelsea this season. He had a one-on-one opportunity with the keeper and missed it right there. Nice save, but unable to finish that. So, and then Chelsea drops the game 2-0 as City was able to get a couple second half goals. But yeah, overall, just couldn't quite get soccer to go our way. What about in basketball at nighttime? Saddiq Bey under 15.5 points. That one's frustrating. Of all the losses of the night, that one's definitely the most frustrating because it feels like the handicapping was spot on. How the game played out was kind of spot on in terms of Celtics being the number one defense against the small forward position. They only allowed 32.9 made field goal percentage, and they held Beta right there, 4 for 12 shooting, so that's 30%. I mean, absolutely, we're shutting Bay down. Again, 4 for 12, 1 for 6 for 3, so just let the man keep shooting. Nope, they had to foul him 10 times, let him make 9 free throws. So half of his points, he ended the game with 18. Half of them come from the line, which the way you're defending that guy, you've already got the number one defense against the small forward position. Like, what are we doing fouling the guy? He's having a bad shooting night combined with your good defense. Unnecessary fouls right there to get him to the line 10 times and ultimately sink our bets. A heartbreaker right there. Then we did get a cash there in Nikola Jokic, but to be quite honest, that was about as lucky as it gets. I mean, we had the advantages we talked about here on this show yesterday, but the way we got the cash was super lucky. If you don't know how it unfolded, started off in the first quarter, played 9 minutes, picked up 10 points. You love to see that. You love to see the things you talk about here play out nice and early. You like the Jokic sees the advantages you talk about. The Nuggets coaching staff sees those advantages. But in that process of playing 9 minutes and picking up 10 points, he gets 2 fouls. Not the end of the world. He's on pace to get 40 points in the game or foul out in the third quarter and end with 30 points. So, again, not the end of the world, but obviously you got to settle down on the fouls. He sits to start the second quarter, but that's what NBA starters do. They usually play most of the first quarter, sit out at the beginning of the second quarter, and then they come on in that second quarter, and then they finish out the half with their starters. So he starts on the bench, comes on, gets a quick 3 points, so now you're up to 13. But in the process of doing that, the knucklehead has to pick up 2 fouls. So he plays 2 minutes in the second quarter. So now we're at 13 points and 4 fouls going into halftime. All right, bro, you really need to slow it down. Actually, it was 10 points. Sorry, you got those 3 points to start off the third quarter. I'm actually wrong. He didn't get any points in the second quarter. He ended halftime on 4 fouls and 10 points. He got those quick 3 points to start the third quarter, but he also picked up a quick foul. So he's 5 fouls. 5 fouls. Played 12 minutes heading into the fourth. And then I actually, kind of be honest, I stopped paying attention. I just assumed he was going to foul out. I mean, he looked like he had no intentions of playing that game while he was having a nice game from a scoring perspective. My man couldn't stop fouling, so I gave up. I then flipped on my phone at some point. It was deep in the fourth quarter, and he had 20 points. Okay, now I'm getting a tease. How have you played that much basketball and you haven't picked up a foul when you were foul heavy to begin the game? Not going to question that, but can you give me 4 more points It came, fellas. It came super late, and then they subbed him out to finish the game. So a cash that came out of nowhere. I still believe it was a cash that I do believe we fully deserved, because the way that first quarter played out was really just going off the great research that we put into it. So he gets over 23.5 points, ends the game with 24. But wow, what a roller coaster ride that he put us through. As far as our two NBA first quarter, bets that we put in, the Cavs were unable to beat the Kings there in the first quarter. I think it was 32-20 or 34. Actually, it was 34-29, because I thought actually the Cavs may come and backdoor us and get a tie, but then the Kings knocked on 2 extra points. So it was 34-29. We did hit our two-legged plus money parlay there, though. Celtics Nuggets first quarter money line parlay. Both of them handled business relatively easy in that first quarter. So lose a little bit on the day. Don't make that soccer parlay and you turn a profit, albeit a small amount of profit. But it would have been nice to sit here and ring that register, but we don't get the luxury of doing that today. So hopefully that's something we can do on tomorrow's show as we roll into the weekend. So yeah, down on the week, and obviously scraped across some arbitrage money. So you've got Thursday night football, fellas. Thursday night football. What about a divisional matchup and a home dog? You guys know what that means, with a total of 42.5 points spread, plus 2.5 for the Panthers. I didn't bet the total, but I certainly liked the over. We just saw this game being played out 2 weeks ago, so I like the over 42.5, and I like the home dog. Look at that game 2 weeks ago. The Panthers were kind of in control of that game. Then they had the issue there with the fourth quarter, the turnover there on downs. Let the Falcons come back into it, get the lead. Then we know they complete the Hail Mary, and then they miss the extra point. They miss a field goal. I like the Panthers here, plus those 2.5, and wouldn't be surprised if the Panthers win it outright at home. But that's not what I'm willing to bet, though, in this game. What I'm willing to bet, though, is a couple player props, a few player props. We want to go ahead and take advantage there of the running situation of what the Panthers are just getting crushed in the run game. So let's go ahead and take both of their running backs and go over 51.5 yards. And I'm not sure how to pronounce his backup's name. We'll just call him Big A there. Big A over 32.5. If you're going to go ahead and drop in the comment section and say, hey, Patterson's already at 54.5 and 55.5 on some books, I think he's going to go way over both of those numbers. So, yeah, I think you're well within your right of betting that. Why do I like that so much? Well, we just saw this game again being played out 2 weeks ago, where the Falcons ran 37 times, only threw the ball 28, but ran it 37 times, got 167 yards. Patterson wasn't involved in that game. That was his last game before he came back from injury. But both the starter and Huntley and Big A went over 51 and 52. So we would have gotten cashes tonight based on 2 weeks ago. Obviously, we know what the Panthers gave up last week to Joe Mixon, but it wasn't only Joe Mixon. They ran 39 times for 241 yards. Joe Mixon obviously would have gone over 51.5. We'll compare Joe Mixon to Patterson here because they're the two starters. Big A, he would have gotten the cash too in that game against the Bengals, as Perrine, the backup there to Mixon, he had over 51 yards. So that would have gotten the cash right there. So love it that 2 straight weeks, the Panthers are allowing both the starter and the backup to go up over their rushing total. The Panthers, they're allowing the third most fantasy points per game to the running back position, and it's not happening from a receiving standpoint because they're actually got some good numbers. They only allow 4 catches on 37 yards to the receiver. The damage is getting done. The reason they're allowing the 4th most fantasy points to the running back position is because of what the teams are doing on the ground. Look, this is the 28th ranked rush defense in the NFL. The Panthers' opponents are running the ball 46% of the time against them. That's the 5th highest percentage in the NFL. And every week we try and predict the game plan of how things may understand. And this is something that, because it was played 2 weeks ago, I think it's going to be copy, paste, and especially with the Bengals and the success that they had last week in the run game. In the NFL, it's the old just, hit somebody's weakness until they prove they can fix it. They obviously didn't fix it against the Panthers, so there's no reason why the Falcons shouldn't come out with the big run-heavy script. This isn't like a early matchup and now a late matchup, and these teams evolved 2 weeks ago. There's no evolving for the Panthers. They still cannot defend the running back position from a running standpoint. So I like both of these, and then went ahead and tacked on Peterson to get a touchdown. And obviously for that one, we're going to go ahead and use that DraftKings boost that they provided there for Patterson. Went from plus 110 to plus 200. I thought I was only going to have 2 bets in this game, but with the success of the running back position, Patterson boosted to plus 200. How can you absolutely not like that one right there? We are going to get in some free rolls on this game. Both DraftKings and FanDuel have same game parlays where if you lose them, you can get your wager back. We'll, of course, bet the max amount. We don't want to go over that. We want to make sure if it's a $10 bet that we get a $10 free bet if we lose it. Guys, this you might as well do, right? We talk about having arbitrage money. We've got up over $18. Who cares if that $18 is in cash or in free bets? At the end of the night, you're still going to have $18. Well, take that back. Hopefully we don't. We can hit one of these goddamn same game parlays. We don't, but I'm just saying, like, worst case, you lose it, you've still got the same amount of arbitrage money to go into this weekend. So I've got one cooked up now. The one on FanDuel, or the one on DraftKings, I've got cooked up now. And then the one on FanDuel, I need to go ahead and make a little bit later on today. And of course, I'll tweet that one out. But for the one on DraftKings, I like Mariota to get a touchdown. I already did have Patterson to get a touchdown. Of course, now we're going to go ahead and ride with him at plus 200 to get a touchdown. And then I've got Patterson and Big A, both an alternate rushing number. I think they're going to go way over 51.5, way over 32.5. So I reflected that here in the same game parlay. And then Grady Jarrett there to have at least one sack. Good pressure. He's been putting good pressure up the middle on opposing quarterbacks. Like to him to at least bring PJ Walker, or maybe Baker Mayfield comes in. And maybe that's what we do with the other same game parlay. Obviously, we need it to be different, right? We want to at least hit one of these two at the best, hell, or maybe you hit both of them. But maybe the other one, you could also even maybe a fade a PJ Walker. Obviously, he got pulled last week there, and Baker Mayfield come in, so that may be a good little strategy to do over FanDuel. So we'll see. We'll cook that one up over on FanDuel a little bit later on, and of course, we'll go ahead and tweet that out when we tweet out the card. But there will not be any additions. There are some afternoon soccer plays, but there's only one game. It's United taking on Villa in the EFL Cup. There, I don't have much interest in that, so we'll just go ahead and stick with Thursday Night Football before we jump into a couple more bets. Let's go ahead and see what you guys are up to on a great Thursday morning. Phoenix up to 69 today. Wow, we're going to be more than you, Justin. We're getting to 72. 72. My brother lives out in Phoenix. He was tired of the living on the East Coast, Baltimore area, and hated the cold, and he just actually moved out to Phoenix. He loves that weather out there. So good stuff, Justin. Hey, Brian, what's going on, man? What's going on, Professor? How about Wendell Carter Jr.? Yeah, you said that yesterday. I don't have that prop available to me. So, but that being said, I'm glad you were able to find yourself an angle and you were able to get a cash. I love to see that, Professor. No more soccer bets till the World Cup. Yeah, I hear that. Yeah, this was our Jokic. You remember Jokic from last season, my man. It was good to get our first cash with him this season, but holy hell was that sweaty. Passed on Chamberlain. Passed Chamberlain. Oh, talking about in terms of some stat, maybe what, like not most points, but maybe something. He passed Wilt Chamberlain something. Should have trusted me with the Bologna most cards. Bet another cash. It's not that I didn't trust you. I just didn't bet it. I wouldn't say I didn't trust you. It's a little harsh. I just didn't bet it. Do you ever do Asian totals? Can you explain how they work? Here, I can explain how that works. Let me. I got Asian stuff is a little complicated. To be honest, it's not complicated when you know it. But it is complicated from, like, I think explaining it, because you can, like, lose half your wager, win half your wager, get a push. So there's just a link right there in the chat. Wikipedia explains Asian handicap right there for you, gent. It's just complicated to explain it with the win half. You'll see it. There's a nice, beautiful chart in that Wikipedia article, so it'll make more sense. Yeah, well, he's got it right here. It's just confusing to talk about because you lose half, you win half. Great article right there. Great article. Yeah, I'm not betting Real Madrid. Cadiz to get the most cards. Cadiz has actually been favorable in this head-to-head. I'm sure they will probably get the most cards, but you saw it. What was it? In that last game, I thought Luka Modric, didn't he pick up? Oh, hold on, let me see this. When they lost to Vallecano. Oh, no, it was just card heavy. It was just card. And then I thought, didn't that get somebody to be then no. Okay. So I was just taking on that. Yeah, I don't know, man. Real Madrid was pretty card heavy last week. I know Vallecano is kind of not a derby, but I know Vallecano is kind of a derby, but okay, be going there. Let's talk some soccer. I can't stay away from soccer. That being said, it's not today. I did drop already in this video description Matt and I's weekly appearance there on Pub Culture TV, where we did talk about all these Premier League games this weekend. Gonna roll out 2 bets. I can't see myself adding to it. We've already talked about how tricky it is. Obviously, if you're tailing these, you know the risk of the World Cup, but I love Aston Villa in the double chance against Brighton this weekend. They're full on getting a manager bump with the greatest European manager maybe in the last 10 years of Unai Emery. You saw what they did immediately up against Manchester United with his first game in charge. So I think they'll get the double chance result up against Brighton this weekend. And then Fulham, Manchester United. Fulham is the most profitable team in the Premier League at cashing over 2.5. So tackle on both teams to score. It's juicy. It's like minus 165. You tack on that both teams to score, and obviously you can see there on the screen, it brings it down to minus 117. So will I add anything else this week in the Premier League? Only if I've got some arbitrage money left over. I'm not trying to get my ass handed to me by some World Cup goofiness, but I do feel really good about these two outcomes this week in the Premier League. So obviously I bet those accordingly. And then we still got the Qatar, Ecuador under 2.5 for the World Cup just to put on the screen and remind you guys about. So otherwise, that's what we'll do. Should be an easy cash. I hear you. So should have beaten Vallecano the other day when they had won 20 of the last 22 head-to-heads. I don't think anything is easy in soccer leading up to this World Cup. I just don't think anything in soccer is easy. Look at the world. I mean, listen to Pep Guardiola's press conference yesterday. He said it's going to be a challenge to get these guys mentally prepared to play this weekend against Brentford because they play Saturday at lunchtime, and then Saturday night they fly out to Qatar. And he said these players will be thinking about Qatar. They won't be thinking about Brentford, the excitement of all the rosters being announced today and yesterday for the World Cup. And Guardiola was like, it's going to be an absolute challenge to get these guys mentally prepared Saturday. I don't think there's anything easy in soccer, but good luck. Obviously, I'm always rooting for you, Professor, and obviously rooting for everybody else as well. But to call something easy at this time with what's going on with the World Cup, I'm not quite there with the easy term. But yeah, good luck, man. Get a cash. Get a cash. Get a cash, man. Hopefully you can get a cash. So, all right, fellas. Obviously it's Thursday Night Football. I can't imagine the Falcons not running the ball. So be cool, Falcons. We just did it 2 weeks ago. You got over 160 yards. Let's duplicate that performance where Patterson and Big A can both get cashes like they did 2 weeks ago where it was Huntley and Big A. So, all right, fellas, we got a show on Friday. We got to get you guys some NFL bets on Friday. Again, probably not adding any additional soccer to it. Obviously, no NASCAR as that season is over. So just come on back for tomorrow's show. Let's roll out the NFL Week number 10 card. All right, fellas, enjoy your Thursday. Hope you guys have a fantastic day and look forward to ringing the effing cash register tomorrow on this show. That's what I look forward to doing. We'll see you guys then. Have a good one.